Yep. All right, good evening, everybody. I am going to call our Board of Selectmen meeting to order for February 10th, 2026 at 6 p.m. Everybody's here, and we're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we've got a few announcements here. This meeting is being recorded by the local scene. Anyone intending to make an audio or video recording of this meeting should notify the chair at this time. Financial assistance applications are available on the town's website or by calling the Selectmen's office. For anyone interested in volunteering, there are several vacancies on various committees and boards. To see a complete list of the openings, please visit our website at kingstonma.gov. And as an example, we have the Commission on Disability, which has 4 vacancies. But anytime we get a lot of people in this room, I always try to take this opportunity to say, if you've thought about doing anything, volunteering your time either as an appointed or elected person, we were just discussing, it should be open pretty soon to be able to pull papers if you want to serve on as an elected member of any of our boards, like School Committee, Board of Selectmen. We have 2 positions that will be open up this year. I don't remember what other elected positions are open, but
Pretty much a little from every committee
every
or
committee.
commission or board. There's at least 1 or 2 seats every year, so
Yep.
consider that. And also Finance Committee, so
Which is
anyone
appointed.
interested in digging into the budget, asking questions, understanding where the money goes from your taxes, please consider looking into Finance Committee. They're about to start their meetings for the upcoming season, so this is the perfect time.
And I just want to add, I say this all the time, you do not have to be an expert, you need to be a resident. You need to be able to volunteer your time, be willing to volunteer your time, be open-minded, you listen, you deliberate. We listen to the experts that work for the town for us, that we hire, and we try to make the best decisions for the rest of the town. All of us have regular day jobs. This is a part-time, none of these are full-time, they're all part-time. So if you have any questions, if you're interested, just reach out to somebody on any of the boards. We're all residents, we're all neighbors. All right, what else? Also, please check our website for any additional events or notices. The website is www.kingstonma.gov. Before I go on, does anybody else have any other announcements? Did you want to announce a birthday?
I just, the 300th Gala was amazing.
Yes.
They did a great job, so I just wanted to thank the organizers and the people that came, and it was a great event, so,
Great.
yeah.
Anybody else? No? All right, at this time, we will move to open forum. So if anybody wanted to speak, just, here we go, we got somebody. So remember, just state your name and address, and you have the floor.
Good evening, all. Susan Sherman, 215 Main Street. I, along with Chris Marano, we're both co-chairs of the Kingston Cultural Committee, would like to report that our council received 22 applications and have selected 16 of them for partial or full funding. Our grant recipients include the Regional High School, the Public Library, artists, local nonprofits, and performing art associations. Additionally, the council had secure funds which will be used for the 300 celebration. It will be dispersed on many of the programs. As many know, the Kingston Cultural Council experienced a significant organizational change this year, which resulted in too few members. That's why Chris and I both volunteered. We wish to thank this board here for appointing Diane Fay and Paula Fay to the board because they're from Middleborough and they were asked to assist us, and without them we couldn't have done it. It was a wonderful, wonderful experience. It's our hope that other residents in Kingston will consider what Chairman Crone just said and join us. We also could use members. We're looking forward to providing you more updates and more information when things come out and the funding is available. But right now, we're in that situation. Thank you.
And thank you for volunteering your time. Yeah. Would anybody else like to speak?
Hi, Jennifer Cushman, 273 Main Street, in my shadow. I want to just address the streets. I know that the town owns so far into the property, but we've turned around and we've cleaned my driveway. I even had somebody pull all the snow that came off my driveway and put it in my backyard. You should see my backyard. But when I go to pull out of my street, out of my driveway, I can't see anything. Nothing. I mean, it's got to be about that high. And when you're sitting in the car, you just don't see anything. I've almost got clipped about 4 times in the last week. I called them, I said something, they said, we're not responsible for it. And it's like, it's the sidewalk. And it's like they just basically blew me off when I called the highway department. So can somebody talk to them about it? Because I'm going to get hit. I know I'm going to get hit if I'm not careful.
Where
Oh, yeah,
are you?
and he has vans that pick him up in the morning for his programs, and they're trying to back in, and it's not working. So, I mean, and I think down on Elm Street, there's an issue too, when you're walking up Elm Street Hill, there's no crosswalk now. It's all piled with snow.
In Green Street more.
Oh, and Green Street too? Okay.
Remember Green Street doesn't have any sidewalks
All right.
because they didn't.
They didn't clear them, yep. So, they gotta do something,
So you're saying?
especially since we're just in the beginning of the year, unfortunately. Thank you.
Oh, that's right.
Thank
All right,
you.
yeah, thank you. All right, anybody else? Nope, okay. Our first appointment tonight is, before we do that, the Finance Committee is here, and you guys need to open your meeting.
Michael Cow at 149 Grove Street, Chairman of the Finance Committee. I call the meeting of the Finance Committee to order at 6:06 PM. Thank you.
All right, so our first item is a presentation from Jason Frazier regarding the capital budget presentation. Mr. Frazier, you have the floor. And I had the privilege of working with Jason for a few years on the Regional School Committee, and you've done a lot for Plimpton, your town, as well as the overall Silver Lake region. So thank you for everything you've done for many, many years.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and members of the board, and to the general public for being here this evening. Silver Lake Regional Schools represents the 2 most valuable pieces of property the 3 towns collectively own. Just the high school and the middle school alone represent about a $500 million asset for our towns. Those buildings were built about 22 years ago. They're not getting any younger. We have had a capital plan to address some of the maintenance issues with the buildings since 2016, and with cooperation from the finance committees, the select boards of the 3 towns, we've utilized what's called E&D funds to take care of our capital plan. E&D funds are analogous to free cash at the town level, but this is not a reliable and sustainable method for maintaining the capital plan for the 2 most important valuable pieces of property we collectively own. So I'm here tonight to address our most recent engineering and architectural report, which came out about a year ago. I know some members of the Finance Committee and Select Board were with us taking a tour of the facilities and having a chance to look at the 120-page architectural overview of the Silver Lake campus and the buildings on it. And we have about $50 million worth of repairs and improvements we need to do over the next 10 years. Now, there's several ways we could look at approaching that. We could take out a bond, but unfortunately, if we took out a bond, the amount of money you're currently paying in exempt capital to Silver Lake, that number would multiply by 4. So we would be looking at a major tax increase to the citizens of Kingston, Plimpton, and Halifax. If we don't do anything, our buildings, which should last us for at least another 20, 25 years minimum, could fall into a state of disrepair where we might need to replace one or both of those buildings. And again, $500 million to replace those two buildings. We would definitely get some help from the state, but we would end up paying $34 million a year if we took out a 20-year municipal bond to cover our expenses. For Kingston, that would be roughly $19 million annually to build 2 new school buildings. I don't think that's anything any of us are ready to do right now, right? Especially when we're talking about buildings that are still in their early 20s. So I've come up with a way to potentially deal with some of the capital issues that we're facing at Silver Lake while having a net neutral effect on the taxpayers of our 3 towns. So I was told that if I didn't bring my props, that people would get very upset. So we currently still have mortgages on the high school and the middle school, but the good news is those mortgages are rolling off this year and next year. That's this line that's called exempt capital up here. This year, $700,000 of exempt capital is rolling off of Silver Lake's mortgage. My proposal is that we replace that $700,000 that's rolling off with $700,000 that would be put into the Silver Lake Stabilization Fund, which specifically by statute and MGL can only be used for capital improvements. So there's no smoke and mirrors here. It would be part of our annual budget that would be vetted by the Finance Committee and Select Boards of all 3 towns annually. We've shared our capital plan and voted it at Silver Lake for the past 10 years now, and we would continue that practice and process. If this is something that your town is comfortable with, and I'm speaking right now to the Select Board and to the Finance Committee, I would also encourage us to pick up the $600,000 next year to give $1.3 million annually to the Silver Lake Stabilization Fund to help chip away at over $50 million in problems. Now, I will admit to you, somebody said, well, Jay, how many years are you going to need that 1.3? Well, if I only have 1.3, 56 years, right? This is going to do a couple of things. One, it will allow our excess and deficiency fund to replenish back up to the statutory level we're allowed to hold, which is about $2.2 million. Historically, the excess and deficiency fund has been used by the 3 towns as an emergency piggy bank in case we have a major catastrophic capital event at Silver Lake campus during the school year. It could allow us just to make a vote to allocate funds with the blessings of the 3 towns to take care of something like a major HVAC system on the roof of our cafeteria of our high school. That unit currently is functioning at about 30 to 50% capacity. If we lose that, we could lose occupancy of the entire building. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to avoid shutting down our high school. I'm trying to avoid displacing our students or, God forbid, having to resort to remote education. I think we learned from the pandemic that that was not an ideal way to educate students. So in collaboration with the administration of the Silver Lake School Committee, we have come up with a 2.5% budget, which includes the $700,000 because it takes into effect the fact that we're rolling off $700 in exempt capital and putting it into the operating budget. So that is what I'm here to propose to you tonight, to garner any feedback or answer any questions you may have about the proposal.
I just want to add, before we open it up to questions to the board, that because a lot of people don't understand everything, that I think you did a great job of explaining it, but what I just want to mention is that the overall budget for Silver Lake is divided by the 3 towns, but it's not a third, a third, a third. It's based on our students, and we're anywhere from like 52 to 60%, depending on how many kids. The more kids we have in Kingston, the more Kingston's going to pay. And then if Halifax and Plimpton grow at the same amount, then percentage-wise, we're the same.
Aren't property values included in that calculation as well?
I don't remember.
So according to the Department of Revenue, every couple of years they come out with the equalized property value, which is based on the assessed value of property, and the total income of all residents in the town.
Okay.
So it's like a wealth factor.
Yeah.
So that's part of it, but the major part of the equation of how assessments are broken out at a regional school is based on population of students on October 1
Yeah.
of 2025 is how we came up with our division of the assessment this year.
Understood.
That makes sense. And any, do you need to open your meeting, David? If you're not speaking, you don't. If you need to say anything, then you can open your meeting. All right. Any questions? I personally think, I feel like this is a good way to do it because, like you said, the E&D excess and deficiency funds, we used to get money because Pembroke split off. Pembroke was paying Silver Lake money because they got, easy way to say this, they got younger teachers that were less expensive. They also, when they left, I mean, it was just sort of an agreement with Pembroke that they, yeah, it is true. And they were paying us quite a bit for many, many years. And the money from solar and some other things that were money. And then if there's money left over at the end of the year, it can either go into excess deficiencies or return to the towns. And just like the town, it would typically be put into free cash. So that revenue stream is sort of drying out, and this is why we have this issue, because E&D is not as much. It was anywhere from $500,000-$600,000 to $1.3 million a year, the years I was on that.
Yeah,
committee.
over the past 10 years, we've spent on average $600,000 a
Yeah.
year to maintain the buildings. Again, $500 million asset, and we've been spending less than 0.1% on the maintenance of those buildings. So there are some projects that we definitely kick the can down the road on. And again, I don't think even the $1.3 million is going to answer the issue of the problems at the Silver Lake campus, but this gives us a substantial tool to approach some of those most dire projects, to allow that E&D to build back up, to give the towns a chance to catch their breath financially and fiscally as well. Because I wouldn't be surprised if we still approach every once in a while for warrant articles for specific projects as well. And our maintenance crew, our facilities crew at Silver Lake is trying to handle as many of these jobs in-house as they can, which they've done over the past 10 years brilliantly, and saved the taxpayers of our three towns millions of dollars.
I personally think it's a no-brainer, that it's a way of providing a standard funding mechanism for capital improvements without having any immediate impact on the town. When Jason talks about $700,000 this year, Kingston will get about 53% of that. $400,000 will be what will be our piece of it. Mm-hmm. And a little history that, as an example of why I think this is good. 3-4 years ago, the local schools here came off of the mortgage. That what we paid to build our two local schools, we completed paying off the mortgage 3-4 years ago. That was $2 million a year that the town was paying towards those schools. At the time I was on the finance committee, I suggested strongly that we should do something to put that $2 million a year away as a way of funding future capital needs, like the 2 new school roofs that were going to be coming to the town for new debt financing in the near future. We didn't do that. So what happened to that $2 million? In effect, it went into our operating budget. So it's always a danger that you use funds like that to go into an operating budget, and then when it comes time for major capital improvements, you don't have any reserve, you have to go out for debt financing. So I'm encouraging my fellow selectmen, the finance committee, to see this as a way of funding a real need and supporting it as best we can.
So Finance Committee, Capital Planning, you guys have any questions? No? Okay. Do you need a vote from us?
That's an interesting question. So
I mean, I'm willing to.
I think it would be a
I've
good
met with-
idea to take a vote. I'm not sure that it would have a lot of meaning except to show that we're supporting
Yeah.
the concept.
I agree.
That sounds like a
Plimpton
motion
did
to
take a
me.
vote.
Go ahead.
So moved.
Thank you.
What's the motion for the minutes for Tricia? Support the
To- To support the Silver Lake
Strategy?
strategy for funding capital projects in the future.
Through stabilization fund, yes.
Second.
I don't, my last comment would be, Silver Lake would be putting this into a stabilization fund. However, that stabilization fund is probably going to be used on almost an annual basis for capital. So it's not like a stabilization fund that you're building up $20 million for this, that, or the other thing. It's kind of a mechanism to utilize these funds to take care of the capital needs without having to come to the towns for every small item that comes up.
So I have a motion and a second, so all those in favor?
Aye.
That's unanimous.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you
and
for your time, and
confidence.
thank you for doing this, being very proactive for the whole district.
Actually, I really enjoyed the poster board as well.
Yes.
No, seriously, it's nice to see something on
Came out of
paper.
Halifax last week, right? How'd they vote?
I don't know if they did or not.
Jason, how did Halifax vote and/or?
Did they vote?
Can I go back to the microphone?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So I have actually talked to Brewer a couple of months about budget, so I just want, I'm gonna bring this up to her.
So I was asked the question, how did the other towns vote on this? So the Finance Committee of Plimpton was my first formal engagement, and the Finance Committee of Plimpton chose to take a vote to support this methodology moving forward for the capital funding at Silver Lake. When I presented it to Halifax the following evening, the consent around the table was that it was a brilliant idea in a vacuum. We actually were just talking about assessments to different towns. Our 2.5% budget to Halifax presents them with a 1% increase over how much they paid last year for all of their kids at Silver Lake. Even with that number, Halifax is finding itself in dire financial straits. And if the two towns, Kingston and Plimpton, vote the Silver Lake budget, it might present Halifax some difficulty in making all of their budgets line up with their ability to pay. So they chose not to vote, but they told me to continue down this pathway because they do believe it is the best way forward to make sure we don't get hit with a major price tag of repairs or replacement of these buildings in the foreseeable future.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And just to add on to what Jason said, for those that don't understand, with the Silver Lake School, sorry, I had to turn my mic on. For the Silver Lake budget, if two towns pass it, so if Halifax and Plimpton passed it and we didn't at town meeting, we get it anyways, which means we have to cut other town budgets. Same with them. So Halifax has a problem. If Plimpton and Kingston vote it, then Halifax has to cut their elementary schools, which are not regionalized, or their police, wherever, find the money somewhere else. So thank you again. All right, the next item that we're going to be talking about is an appointment with Captain Jones River Estates Homeowners Trust to discuss required signatures to continue the street acceptance process. So before we begin the discussion on this, I just want to, thank you. Oh, yeah, sorry, go ahead. Sorry about that.
I mean, you can stay.
You just leave it open.
Michael Cowell, 149 Grove Street, Chairman of the Finance Committee. I'm going to move the Finance Committee adjourn. Can I have a second? Second. Cool. All those in favor, aye? Aye. The motion to adjourn passes. Finance Committee meeting is adjourned at 6:20 PM. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so before we get started, I just want to briefly frame where we are procedurally. So under the town's road acceptance policy, private ways petitioning for acceptance are generally required to obtain signatures from at least 90% of abutters. So that threshold exists, but acceptance can result in, because acceptance can result in betterments and costs being assessed to the property owners. So the board typically looks for very strong consensus. So the current petition is close, but not quite meeting that 90% level. At the same time, this particular roadway is somewhat unique. It functions as a connector between two main roads, 106 and 27, and is used regularly by police and fire for emergency response. So that creates a broader public safety benefit beyond just the immediate neighborhood, which is something the board must also consider. So because of that, the board can consider whether a waiver or modification of the signature requirement is appropriate in the specific case. If we were to consider that, it would be based on these unique public safety circumstances. It would not be intended to set a precedent for other private way petitions. So as always, the board wants to ensure that any support reflected in the petition is voluntary and informed. But before we deliberate further, I want to invite Val if she has anything to add. Val here. Do you have anything to add to what I just said? Absolutely, yeah. Thank you. And then I'll open it up to somebody from the neighbors.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Valerie Massard, Town Planner. So Captain Jones Drive was originally applied for by the developer as a private cul-de-sac dead-end road. During the planning board public hearing process for the subdivision, police, fire, and highway requested that the road be designed as a through road in order to enhance public safety response. So the planning board approved this as a all the way through rather than a cul-de-sac. The road contains a single speed hump to reduce travel speeds along Captain Jones. The road is private, recently constructed, and accepted by the planning board, built as approved. And previously, you've put in a snow plowing policy, and just as part of that, they're a new street. They're not eligible for plowing under your policy. And then lastly, where we are today is there's a street acceptance petition that you've had a public hearing on in the past. As part of the process, we've attained the 60% of the signatures to do some of the engineering and back and forth with the neighbors about what we might do there in terms of that speed hump being something of an obstacle for our emergency response vehicles. And at this point, in order to move forward, the policy question that you mentioned, they need 90% of signatures in order to move forward, and they're at about almost 89%. So that's where we are today.
And I just want to add that right now it has, I just want to reinforce, there's the one speed hump, and what they're looking at right now, the current plan that they're looking at is the two speed tables, and that's where the folks who didn't want to sign didn't agree. They didn't want two, they just wanted one or none. So that was, we had a meeting, was it last week or the
Last week?
Yeah, last week.
Feels like a
Thank
long
you.
time ago.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So we just met last week to discuss this. They still want to have the two speed tables. They just don't have the buy-in from those final two homeowners.
Because of the speed
Because of
table?
the two speed tables, yeah. So my understanding was that they would be fine with it if it was one speed table, but the residents overall still want two, one on each end. And it's a unique, just so you guys know, I don't know if everyone's aware of this, but there are a lot of kids cutting through in the morning and after school going through that neighborhood, and they're driving fast, so that's the issue. So the speed bump obviously slows them down. Even the speed tables, I was talking to the police chief about it, and he's like, you cannot, you've got to slow down when you come up to those. So that will, do the task, I guess. And the problem is at both ends. So it kind of makes sense to put in two, but that's where we're at. So we have two families who don't want to and didn't want to sign, and it is going to cost, what are we at, $28,000, if I remember correctly?
Give or take.
Yeah, but they've already paid the $4,000, is that right?
They have not paid yet.
But they're on the hook for the $4,000, is that right? Okay. So then we talked last week. So what I mentioned to them, and I just want everybody on the board to understand, it's going to cost money to do a betterment. And please correct me if I'm saying anything incorrectly. So we're looking at 28 grand. Kathleen finance director said that to put the betterments in place is gonna cost us more than that in legal fees and getting everything set up. So she said it would make more sense for the town to cover this cost. But my concern is that we are in a, I mean, as you heard from Jason, I mean, we're in a bad financial year. So even if we say yes and we say, let's move forward, the next step is it's going to go to town meeting. Well, there's going to be some engineering and plans and other things, I guess, happening between now
No,
and then.
it'll go directly to town meeting with the caveat that we pick up those costs, which includes doing the plans and so forth after town meeting acts.
So the so there's two ways, and again, correct me if I'm wrong. They could say, hey, send this to town meeting, it'll go to town meeting, the town pays, but that's 28 grand. Or what I mentioned to them is if it's possible for them to still pay without doing a betterment, and there's some way that we can put that together, that has a better chance of passing town meeting, because again, we are looking at the very real potential of another override. I mean, we barely squeaked by last year through the budget process without an override. We had $3,000 remaining in our taxable levy, meaning if there was a $4,000 expense, we'd need an override. So this year, it's going to be tight. We need final numbers from the schools to know for sure. So what I had said last week was, it's just a really bad year to go and ask the town to pay this money to put in speed tables in your road, and then for us to accept it, and then we're taking on the cost of a road. But again, the caveat of that's a road that the fire department and the police department want to have to cut through from 27 to 106 and vice versa. So there's the public betterment, or benefit, I should say. But we have the issue, like I said. So I think I've framed this well, that we have two families that don't want two. Everybody else does want two.
Only two families. Everybody wants two.
That's my understanding.
I understand all but two signed, but it wasn't my understanding that all but two necessarily wanted to sign, so. But,
Our vote's same, our notarized the same.
sorry, the people, the recording won't be able to pick up your voice, but
Yeah.
just give me 1 second. I guess my question is, we can't accept the road, we can't move forward with the road acceptance process with the current speed hump there, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So
It needs to
has
be-
to go
It needs to be
regardless.
removed.
Okay,
Right.
so it has to go.
And there's a cost associated with that. I forget what it is. It wasn't terrible.
$1,700.
1,700,
Yeah.
okay. So the current one has to go. So then the potential next steps from what I'm gathering is, one, the speed hump comes out, we get the road approved, and the town does or does not put in speed humps later, or speed humps go in before the road acceptance.
Well, no.
One or two. Is that
No.
not right? Okay.
No.
That's why I wanted to clear that up, because that's what it sounded like.
No work.
Sorry, the town can't legally go and do work on the roads. The
Sorry.
the residents are not in a position at this moment to make the repairs in advance, as I understand it. They're here to speak to their position. But what would happen is, once the roads were public, we could go in and do the speed tables and remove the speed hump.
I didn't think we could accept it until the speed hump was out.
No, conditional.
Oh, okay. Okay. Interesting.
Val, did I get all that right?
Okay.
I'm not missing anything, right?
Right, it all has to do with who's going to pay for what in
Right.
terms of timing, and that's sort of a separate issue from the question of policy.
So, go ahead, Carl.
I was just going to say, because that issue has been put on the table, I, for one, am not in favor of the town paying a nickel concerning that street when we've got other potential issues that we'd be setting a dangerous precedent, and I don't want to say, okay, this is only $30,000, and then I've got another problem that's $3 million. So that I just want to be on the record as saying that the residents who are along there should be paying for it.
So, but before we go any further into deliberation, I just wanted to invite somebody from, do you have a spokesperson that wanted to speak? Yeah, okay. Just introduce yourself and your address, and then Then you have the floor.
Kyle Little, 4 Captain Jones Way. Some of this was already discussed, but I did prepare kind of an opener and what the topic of discussion was. The main topic is being an exception to the current policy, right? Not necessarily the cost or anything bearing to that. The only topic is the exception to the policy. We're requesting an exception to the current town policy requiring a 90% approval threshold. So the roadway improvement plan, as discussed and designed currently, can be moved towards the article for town meeting. Over the past year plus, maybe 2-3 years at this point, we've worked collaboratively with town planner Val, planning board, and town's selected engineer to collaborate and develop a safe, compliant replacement for the existing speed table and design. As you know, the current table, and we just hashed on, was it was constructed by the developer. He was instructed to install it one way. He didn't, and walked away from the project, right? And essentially left us as residents with a challenge. Because this is also a private road, every consequence on this road, liability, repair, maintenance, and safety risk falls entirely on the residents. After a thorough review with residents, and majority consensus is the installation of 2 properly engineered speed tables, one at each end of the road of Captain Jones Way. This is supported by town's appointed engineer, Val is our town planner, and overwhelming majority of the residents, with 16 of 18 residents voting for 16 of 18 homes voting for the 2. But our concerns also go far beyond engineering compliance. They center on traffic volume and speed and safety. When the road was, as we discussed, originally designed in 2017, 2018, I think the original plans were submitted. It was designed as a cul-de-sac, but with the town planner and advocacy from our public safety officials to design as a throughway for emergency response, 27106, and which is advantageous to the town and the residents, right? Larger issue, as we all know, and many residents here, is not necessarily traffic volume, but the speed. Particularly among very young or inexperienced drivers, some older ones that still think they can drive as they were young, and regularly use this road as a shortcut. These drivers are inexperienced. They lack the attention span. They lack the reaction time experience to safely navigate sudden hazards or intricacies on the roadway, especially in the neighborhood densely population of children. And on that point, I also want to highlight some of those children are here today. We felt it was important as a group of neighbors to have them witness this process firsthand, to understand that their parents and adults in the community are working to keep them safe, to see their civic engagement in action, and to understand that their well-being is at the center of this discussion. As every parent knows, even well-taught children don't always remember to look both ways. They chase balls into the street, as cliche as it may sound. They act independently, just as developing children should do. Well, some opponents to our ask for an exception to the policy claim, just watch your kids. Any parent knows that constant, uninterrupted supervision is not realistic. Responsible roadway design must reflect real human behavior, not idealized behavior. So with 16 out of 18 homes, which, when we do the math, is 88.9%, support this improvement plan, in practical terms, this is functionally equivalent to 90%. In nearly all forms of governance, municipal, nonprofit, corporate, typically a 2/3 majority is considered an appropriate threshold for meaningful changes. Our neighborhood exceeds that, our current vote exceeds that by a wide margin, and the only reason we fell slightly short of 90% is simple math. Where one vote carries a disproportionate weight. Also, I wanted to discuss the critical structural issue. Because this road is private, we maintain sole responsibility for all plowing, salting, sanding, repairs, long-term maintenance. This winter, in particular, as we all know, it's a lot more snow we normally have, which is a significantly higher cost to maintain the road safely. This can cause financial strain on some residents, including those that are on fixed income who may be retired, those who are, on a lower income. There are 2 houses that are part of the affordable housing policy in the neighborhood and can cause financial strain. Meanwhile, hundreds of vehicles, not just residents, use the road daily. Emergency services rely on it for improved response times. I see we have our police chief represented here, and those guys use that road every day. The fire department uses that road every day. They rely on it to get the emergencies as fast as possible. And commuters regularly cut through the neighborhood. Right? Yet, none of those drivers contribute to the cost of maintaining the road they rely on. There's a fundamental imbalance where 18 households are privately paying for infrastructure used by the broader public, and because this road is private, we may, with maybe some legal counsel, we may retain the ability to close this off and return it to the original cul-de-sac design, which that option would increase emergency response times, inconvenience residents who rely on the cut-through, and undermine the town's established planning goals. We do not want to pursue this route. Our intention is to work collaboratively towards solutions that benefit both residents and the town. In fact, our long-term plan, as we are sitting here today and gone through the process so far, is to seek town approval for the next town meeting to officially adopt Captain Jones Way and Barrysburg Circle as a public way, which would put the road in alignment with the actual usage patterns and public benefit it already provides today. Given the overwhelming resident support, safety concerns, and financial inequities of remaining private, the town's own reliance on this road for emergency access, we believe it's both reasonable and appropriate to grant an exception to the 90% threshold rule, or policies. Where the HOA and residents are fully willing to collaborate with the town officials on the appropriate committees to develop a fair and transparent cost structure and propose roadway improvements. Our request is simple: allow our clear, strong majority to act, allow the roadway improvement plan to move forward to the town meeting, allow residents to pursue a fair, safe, and collaborative path forward. Thanks for your time.
Any questions? Before you step down, I was looking something up, so I didn't hear part of what you said at the very beginning, and you may have said this. Did you say that you all are willing to cover the cost for this, or did you not quite address that? Because at the end, you just said that you're willing to work with the town to come up with a cost structure. So if you can address that.
Yeah. Do you want to speak, Dave? Okay. I'll let Dave speak to that. He's
Okay. All right, thank you. And thank you for all of that information. Thank you.
Dave Jossi, 10 Barrowsbrook. I am one of the trustees, and as Kyle mentioned, this has been a long process. I'm going to start out by telling you on the 31st of January 2025, we paid the town $500 to start this process. That's over a year ago now, and we're still working on this. We've got a number of quotes from the town, and I understand that prices change as we move along. We've got a quote here at one point in time of $21,992. That was for one table. Engineering, again, I'm just going to hit highlights. But here's a point that I'd like to bring out. And it wasn't addressed to me, but one of the neighbors approached one of the people who was against this. And what he told the person, again, this was not to me directly, was if one speed table was required, then he would accept the 2. Well, I have a note here from a meeting on August 7th, which was stated, the recommendation from the town of Kingston is we have that to have 2, with 1 required and 2 preferred. If that statement was made to this gentleman, we probably wouldn't even be here. This road was, again, like Kyle said, was supposed to have a speed table. People bought homes on that road with children thinking, well, at least we'll have 1 to maybe slow the traffic down. And that is not the case now. It's stated that we don't require any, so we're not going to get that person's vote. Otherwise, like I said, we wouldn't be here. He would have voted for it. And the gentleman that spoke to him is here, and if he'd like to speak, I'd be more than like, have him come up here. Here's another. The residents have agreed to find improvements to a betterment. Here's another issue. This is Town of Kingston, Board of Selectmen, road acceptance policy and procedures. This will be on page 4. We were told that we could use an abatement, and it says right here, the applicant shall respond to the town administrator's office within 60 days, which we did, certified mail, signed 60%. Those persons owning land within the owning land with frontage or abutting the private way that one agreed to a betterment for the cost of the engineering, design, improvements, and so on.
Mm-hmm.
It's here in your...
What are you getting at? You lost me. What I asked was whether you guys were, hold on. So I just, the question I asked was, were you all willing to pay for all of this or not? And then he said that you were going to stand up and address that question.
Are we willing to pay?
Yeah, that was the question.
At the last meeting, it was brought up that we could pay a certain amount of money over a period of time. And the time was 5 years. So I guess...
If you want to speak, you just got to go up there.
All right, please clarify that.
What we talked about is that the finance director has directed that the betterment process that's in your policy is ineffective for such a low amount of money in terms of the improvements that are needed.
Mm-hmm.
So what we talked about with Eric last week at our meeting with all of you was that you could work with us to set up a payment structure which could be anywhere from 5 to 20 years, and that we would need to talk about that more. And at that time, you were going to take it under consideration as to what your position was.
And just to be clear, so it's $28,000 divided, correct me if I'm wrong, divided by, 28,000 total, divided by 18, it's $1,500 a family. So are we saying 20 years for that? That's a long time for $1,500.
I don't think we're saying terms to any type of financial agreement. I'm Annie Emity. I live at 12 Captain Jones Way. We embarked on this vote, this 16 versus the 90% thing, with the understanding that this was going to be a betterment approach.
Mm-hmm.
This whole it not being a betterment approach came up at that last meeting. So all of those votes were signed, and I hope you all don't mind me speaking on your behalf, with the intention that we were going to be paying something.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think there's any intention for our neighborhood to come to the town and say, you should pay for it. That is information given to us by the town last time we were here,
Right.
saying that it was more financially advantageous for the town to not do the betterment and just pay for the project. So we're like that's all news to us the last time we talked. We approached that vote. That vote is to get us on the, what is the word, Kyle?
Town meeting warrant.
Town meeting warrant to move this project forward, right? We don't know the answer to the question.
So
the
the
answer to the question is the intention was for us to pay, never was the intention for the town to pay. But if there's a middle ground, like, we're willing to hear it. Like, we don't have options yet, so.
So I guess here's the question, and I may be just speaking on behalf of the board. If you guys disagree, just, please tell me. So for me, I do see the value to the town. I also know the budget issue. If this were any other year,
Yeah.
I would say, let's use, put it to town meeting for free cash, it may be voted down. But this year is a year, and I'm just giving you advice that I don't think the town meeting would pass this. I don't know of anybody on this board, in order to be asked to put forward a waiver where there is some tension and conflict here regarding the whole thing. In general, I'm not a big proponent of doing waivers, but this situation is very unique and different. I can't think of another road that has an issue like this, being that cut through and the benefit to the town. But do you all need to know whether they're going to pay for it, or it could be the town paying for it in order to vote for a waiver for it to go into town meeting warrant?
I think that we're kind of off the rails a little bit, because the question before us is, they're at 88, what did you say? 88.9%. All but two, essentially. The intention of the 90% was to get near unanimous support from the neighborhoods. 90% is a number. It is close to all of them, right? That was the intention. So I think we have to go back to thinking through in August of 2023, when we sat and discussed this at length and changes were made about betterments and whatnot, what the recommendation was before us at that time was it should be 90%, because that's nearly everybody. Could it be 88.9% for this one because it's a really small neighborhood, small group of people? I think so.
And it benefits the town, I think.
Well,
That's where I guess,
it's,
that's what my
so,
question is.
yes and no. So
What's
I will
the
say
benefits?
every road that we, as a town, take has some sort of public benefit, but also has other pieces to that puzzle, including liability, including maintenance costs, including ongoing repairs, plowing, the list goes on, right? Especially sidewalk repairs, granite curbing.
Yep.
Speed
Of course.
tables add a whole nother piece to
Maintenance
this.
piece,
So, yes, it is a commonly accessed road. Yes, the emergency vehicles asked for it to be a through street when it was before the planning board. That is true. It's not the only street that's happened on, but yes, that is a piece of it. But there are downsides to the town for accepting roads as well.
Yeah, of
So it's
course,
just-
but I think that
it's a
the
balance.
cut-through for the fire department and emergency vehicles is pretty unique to our, it's not just our road, I understand I can think of a couple off the top of my head that I
Sure.
also drive through, so.
Absolutely.
I know it's not a unique, but I know Val told us there were X amount of roads up for acceptance right now, and ours was one of the only ones that fell into that category, right? So just, it's just a little bit of.
No,
you know,
I
We're in like a
understand.
very gray area here.
And whether or not a road comes before the town to get accepted is really on the people who
Yep.
own that road and whether they want to bring it to the town for acceptance, right?
You have to put it on the warrant.
No, understood, but they do some stuff first before it comes to
Right.
getting it on the warrant. That was my point, is we could have over 100 private roads, non-public roads in Kingston that never come before us, ever, because they've just continued to do their own thing, and that's fine as well. So,
But we kind of feel like we can't do our own thing. Yeah. That's kind of where, we talked a lot with Eric about that, is that like, we're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place, because it's not like if we say, okay, never mind, we're not gonna go for road acceptance, let's cut this off and make it a cul-de-sac. I don't think that's going to be very easy for us financially, or with getting approval across the board from the town to do that as well.
right, it's
So I
true.
think that's, it's tough, it's where we're stuck.
So in terms of the speed humps themselves, I don't have a strong opinion one way or the other, whether there is none, one, or two. Tables. Sorry. I know, you guys have been through more of these meetings than I have.
I would suggest, I would suggest that we just vote on whether we want to grant this waiver of 88.9% or not, and that all of the other issues are going to be handled as the process moves forward.
Correct.
That was my clarification question. So if that is what's at the table and we're voting on that percent, if we're going to accept that and make an exception to it, does that bind us to anything else?
Bind us
To bind us to,
It allows them to move to the next step in the
to
process.
town, to put it on the warrant.
And then we have to vote on that town
Go ahead,
warrant and what
Val.
it looks, thank you, Val.
So you're acting as road commissioners
Yep.
in this instance, and what you're saying is that you would waive a policy of the selectmen in order to act as road commissioners to allow this to go on to the warrant. You'll have to have one more meeting to actually, to take that step, after you hear from the planning board. So you'll, if you choose to move it onto the warrant, then it goes to town meeting. The thing that has to be sorted out between now and the warrant closing is the payment issue.
Okay. That's what I wanted. Thank you, Val.
So I have a motion written out because it kind of talks about not setting precedent. So if we're going to make a motion, I
You can read it.
want to read it. Any other
Fine with that.
questions? Huh?
I'm fine with that.
Okay. Any other comments, questions? I usually don't read the motion, but, okay, so I move that the Board of Selectmen consider a waiver of the 90% abutter signature requirement for the Captain Jones Way and Barrows Brook Street acceptance petition based solely on the demonstrated public safety and municipal benefit of the roadways as an emergency response connector, and that such waiver be specific to this petition and not intended to establish precedent for future private way acceptance requests.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All
Just want
right,
to make sure that we know that we're waiving the 90%, but at 88.9. We're not, it can't be 60%, it can't be 20%, they can't withdraw that. Like, the waiving the 90% is accepting 88.9 is good enough, right?
Yeah.
We'll get 7 from that. Yep.
all right.
Round
Thank you,
it to
everybody.
.9.
Yep.
Damn.
They were
Hey, you know what?
great.
They were really
No,
well
you all have to
behaved.
stay.
So props to you all.
You have to stay. Can we revote?
Yeah, we're going to do a 5-minute recess. All right, you heard me.
Oh, boy.
All right, we are back in session. Hope you like the commercial break. All right, so the next item up is a recommendation from Shellfish Constable for God, I can't say it, shellfish at the seashore, fees and regulations. You got the floor.
Could you do like she sells
Sally sells seashells by the seashore.
Yeah, you got it.
Dan Cullivan, 39 Rocky Nook Ave, Town of Kingston Shellfish Constable. The Department of Marine Fisheries has redefined the Town of Kingston's classification area, CCB 43, and its sub-areas within the Kingston Bay. I've updated our area's classification on the map that we hand out to licensees, and also have redefined those areas on our rules and regulations for the 2026 shell fishing season. I'm also proposing a new fee schedule for 2026. Last year, we increased the fee for not only residents of the town, but also for non-residents by $10 across the board. My proposal for this year is to revert back to the fees from 2024 for all Kingston residents, as I've indicated in the package that you probably have in front of you, and to increase fees to non-residents, and I hope that the board will consider and approve these changes that I've laid out.
Any questions? Go ahead.
I do. Do you have a count on the non-residents versus residents?
I do.
collectively?
We had 48 non-residents last year, 46 the year before.
And residents, do you have a count on residents?
I can give you
Just
the
a
total.
roundabout, I don't need it exact. Well, I'm doing it in my head, but on paper, yeah.
In 2024, we had 170 total. And in '25, we had 146. So it went down last year.
And then just a last question, is there a drop in fees? Like I know that you do the seeding of you seed?
I did. Last year, I put 50,000 soft shell seed at the cost of about $1,500. And that's basically the whole department's cost structure. I mean, there's no cost to the shell fishing other than the licenses and what
Okay.
I do with the seed.
I feel like, oh, sorry, do you want to ask a question?
I guess
Go
it's
for
just, what's the benefit of lowering the cost? I mean, the obvious benefit of lowering the cost, but it's a novelty item. These are day licenses, right?
Yeah.
And I know it's not a ton of money coming into the town, but these
Well,
are
that's
also
the thing.
not
It's not a ton
expensive.
of money coming into the town. And
But they're also pretty low fees to begin with, right?
Come again?
They're also pretty low fees though, right?
I'm not sure.
They're low fees to begin with.
Oh, yeah,
It's not
yeah,
like
they
these
are.
are
Yep,
$100
yep.
for a day.
Yep.
So,
But for out-of-towners, we charged $100 in '24, $110 in '25. Duxbury charges $160. Granted, they have a little more real estate, but I propose to go up to $125. I mean, if you want to talk about going higher than that for non-residents, I'm wide open to that. I think the town of Kingston has charged, I've been at my address for 16 years. I've paid the same fee every year till last year. Last year, as a constable, I walked around, every single person was complaining about, it's only $10, but they complained, every one of them. So, on behalf of shellfish license holders, I'm here to see if we can knock it back, and whatever we do with non-residents is fine. I mean,
I'm going to say the same thing I said last year, which is I have a hard time keeping fees the same year over year when costs continue to go up. And I get it. Everybody's feeling it everywhere in their life. Everything is expensive. I could see maybe keeping it the same. I can't go backwards. And the reason I can't go backwards is because it's not going to be free forever. And yes, it's been free for a long time for certain age categories. And I did say to the last year that I thought we had too many categories,
Yes.
to be honest.
We
I
still-
thought,
yeah, we
I
do.
thought there were way too many different age breaks, creating an unnecessary administrative burden on the office. Like, why can't we have a general ticket shellfish license cost above a certain age and a non-resident? So there's only 3. But I don't know if that's too much change all at once, but I would love to see reduced number of categories and maybe keep the pricing the same. But I think,
Yeah,
I mean,
Jim.
I was an advocate for increasing fees a little because I can't imagine.
And I'm an advocate for decreasing them, so.
Right. Because so the way I look at it is, right now, the town is subsidizing the costs of having the department. So ideally, departments are more
What cost is that?
well, we pay you, right?
Yeah.
Okay. There's like clothes.
You're gonna pay
and-
me either way, though.
No, but my point is there are costs associated with every department. So for example, the transfer station, we're gonna be talking, we're gonna have a very serious conversation coming up about the transfer station and how we can make that more self-funded and less subsidized by the overall general government. I'm not saying we should make shellfish licenses cover every cost associated with the department, but I don't think it should be free. I guess that's my 2 cents.
Anybody else?
We increased the Grays Beach sticker fee. We didn't want to do that. We did do that last year. So I just think that then going backwards in a fee is, it just seems not the right thing to do. I'm okay with keeping it.
Keep it the same.
Yep, I'm okay with keeping it, but I would agree with you. I would like to reduce the categories.
It's a lot.
Yeah, we discussed it last year,
We
but
did.
everyone
It was too much
gave
to
up
talk
on
about.
it.
For like residents, non-residents,
It
resident
should, it should
veteran.
just be
Oof.
general, senior citizen, and
And then some
non-residents.
sort of discount for veterans if you want.
Yep,
I-
yep.
Yeah.
So, I'm fine with keeping them the way they were in 25, rather than reverting back. Does somebody want to make a motion?
Oof. I don't know, are we doing anything
Well,
with
it
the
wouldn't be
categories?
keeping it, right? 'Cause
I guess
we'd be
here's
still
my question.
raising non-resident.
Given this feedback from the board, would you be, I mean, do we need to set it today? Do we have to set it today because timing?
No, you can do it next meeting. I mean, you can do whenever you want, but typically we start selling the first Monday of March.
Okay, so I guess my question for you is, do you want to, given the feedback from the board, I know Carl didn't say a whole lot, I'm not sure. Eric, did you
I
comment?
said
Good, let's
I'd
stay.
rather stay or
Okay.
go up.
So I guess my question is, do you want to, given the feedback, do you want to take another look at this and see if you have a recommendation on reducing the number of categories and trying to
I could
keep
do
the
that.
cost the same for as many people as you can?
So you're saying you don't want to give free license to anyone? 70 years old, 60 years old, 65
As
years old?
opposed to $10?
I would say. keep
As
it-
opposed to $10, yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it should stay at $10.
I agree.
I don't want it to go up. But I also want to see a reduction in categories. So I guess that's my 2 cents,
Yeah.
but you're the boots on the ground, so.
I'm the what?
You're the boots on the ground. You're talking to all the people. When they complain, they're complaining to you. So I guess I'm asking for you, if you want to look at this again and see if we can get less.
We can certainly do that. I
Okay.
mean,
Non-residents the same.
yeah, I can do that. I can't do it for next meeting. I won't be, I'm on vacation. I won't be around.
That's
So
fine.
So we can't start selling licenses.
can I make like a recommendation
Well,
on the
let's see,
chart?
and see if you can buy in on it. Sure.
Go ahead.
Okay. My recommendation would be general, so not seniors, $50, which it was last year.
Wait, so, sorry, what?
It was
General.
$50 for general. I think
So
it's listed as 14 to 61 right now.
Okay, so that's just a resident.
Resident, yeah, I'm doing residents right now. Seniors, we would split the difference between the two, so $20.
So
Non-residents.
$20 above age 60.
Whatever a senior
Two.
citizen is, I'm not sure what that
I
age
think
limit
there's-
is.
What's a senior citizen, 65 and older?
55, depends on who you
55.
ask.
Okay,
This
well,
is
whatever,
why-
whatever that is.
Say
I
65
got the
and
senior
older.
discount at
All right,
Don's.
yeah,
Say 60.
so, we,
I mean, you may just want to pick a number.
60, that's fine.
65 or 60.
Yeah, 60, I guess.
Okay,
What is,
60 and older.
I'm sorry.
I'll give
I'm
it,
gonna chime in.
Oh.
What is
Yeah.
the beach stickers? There is 60.
oh, do we have a
Yeah,
number on
what's
the beach
the-
sticker?
have
what's the
categories.
age?
We can pull up the
Yeah, it's-
categories.
Yeah, so it's like,
We did this last
Two?
I know,
Okay,
this is why I
whatever,
think
yeah,
we
we'll-
had
we'll
this
match it,
exact
yes.
conversation
trying to
last
say.
year.
All right, so let me finish my numbers, though.
I have to meet with them in the interim, and then
That's a good
I'll
idea.
get back to you guys.
That,
We can come up, I mean, if it helps, if you happen to meet with the constable,
that's,
come up
That
with
would be
something,
great.
I can bring that to the board.
I think it would be
For next
better
meeting.
For next
than
meeting.
trying
Okay,
to work it out
that's
right now.
fine.
And even with you on vacation, we can.
And I'll
handle it
send
if
you what
wanna
I was-
Work with him.
Yeah. That would be great. So I mean, generally less categories
Yeah.
and as close to the same pricing
Yeah.
as we can. If we are adjusting the categories, some people are gonna see a slight increase or decrease, but hopefully not significantly, so.
And
if you guys
because
could-
those stickers, the shell fishing stickers and the Grays Beach parking stickers have to go hand in hand because you need a sticker. The only place
I
that
can't
you,
hear.
the only place that you can shellfish currently now and park is at Grays Beach, correct?
No,
Where-
Association Beach also.
You can, but we can't park there. There's no public parking, correct? So it would be advantageous for us to look at the Grays Beach sticker categories and match them because they're gonna be needing to do the same.
Perfect.
Okay?
Okay. That sounds good. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
That's
I
fine.
appreciate-
It's all well and good, but I didn't hear a word you said, so.
Oh, sorry.
I tried to, we should have the
Scott's
telephone.
going to work with you.
Yeah.
Scott is going to work with you to come up with a plan. And then he can present it to us, because you're away, for the next meeting.
And have a great
Just spent
vacation.
more
Yes.
time talking about.
Don't think
this
about
than
shellfish.
the 60 million budget.
That's because we can't.
Give it a shot, you can meet Trish and I, and we'll sit down. It won't take us long.
I don't think so. But it will be, you guys will be faster than this would be.
I think so.
Where's
Yeah.
your beach sticker?
It was my.
Thank you, Dan.
Yeah, thank you. All right, next item is the acceptance of digital signage policy for townhouse.
So we have a new sign out front with the beautiful new design, which is lovely.
It is nice.
The policy, it looks like it's in our packet, yeah?
I'm trying to find it on my word here. No.
And complete. We gave it,
All right, so did everybody review the policy? Does anybody have questions? And if not, does somebody want to make a motion?
Did Scott have any concerns? Did you? No, okay. Looks
I
good to
move the
me.
Board of Selectmen accept the digital sign policy for townhouse sign as presented.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Sorry, I'm so used to roll call and sort
I
of
know.
debating.
Can I ask a funny question about
Not now.
that digital sign? No, it's quick. The digital sign rolls right to left instead of left to right. Is that
Oh,
normal?
that is weird.
I mean, it could be just
I didn't
me.
realize that, but I,
Can you ask?
this is just never.
Because we.
It might be the thing it's supposed to do, but it rolls right to left instead of the way you
That's
read
Well, that's how
left to
you
right.
read. If it's going that way,
No, it's
right?
going this way, so you're
Right,
reading
so
the
you're
word
reading it
backwards.
that way.
Am I reading it that? I don't know. I'm just asking.
Is the other side also lit?
Are you saying it's going right
Yeah,
to
both
left?
sides are.
So you're getting the S and then the
Right
E,
to
and it
left.
should go right to left. So you see the beginning of the word.
Maybe, and then you're reading it?
Yeah, that's how it should go. If it's going this way, it should not.
Can't read. You'd be reading it backwards.
Maybe going around,
I'll have to go look.
Yeah.
which is why it's doing that.
All right,
These are the riveting matters of the Board of
all right,
Selectmen.
next,
Right now, the sign is currently buried.
yeah.
Now, why don't you go check, Will, and then report back?
All right, so the next item is to open the Springtown meeting warrant. We have a
Okay.
motion that we can make.
I move the Board of Selectmen open the May 2nd, 2026 annual Springtown meeting. Warrant effective immediately.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I keep wanting to say Eric, aye. All right.
When are we planning to close that?
The 24th,
Of March?
24th of March.
Oh, good. I was like, sorry.
How are you been on?
Hurry. We don't even have budget, so,
I know, that's why I had a mini.
all right,
2 weeks.
acceptance of donation to the library. Someone want to make a motion?
I move the Board of Selectmen approve the donations from various donors in memory of Eleanor Fonseca in the amount of $175.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
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 I don't know why we were so delayed on that, I guess.
All right, meeting
We were
minutes.
considering it.
Approval of open session meeting minutes, January 27th.
I move the Board of Selectmen approve the open session meeting minutes of January 27th, 2026 as presented.
Second.
All those in favor? Eric, aye.
Aye.
All right, next up, town administrator report.
Okay, so I did include it late in your package, so you do have one, my apologies for that. The financial team, we still continue to work on the
Up.
budget. Oh, sorry about that. And that's the report. The financial team, we're still working on putting our budget together. again, we are behind schedule, but we're making some good progress. Department heads are getting their numbers into us, and I think we'll have some solid numbers within the next couple of weeks for you. Snow and ice operations, been a very challenging winter for our streets and trees department. They have been working around the clock trying to fight the cold, fight the snow, fight the ice. I do get a lot of compliments on them. We do also get folks that are having some problems, and it has to be expected this time of year. There's, we have limited resources, limited money, and they are doing overall a very, very good job. And Sean and I talk constantly about this and about different areas that we feel need attention, and they do get on top of it. So, as you know, the town only appropriates about $360,000. I think it was $361,000 for snow and ice removal. Year-to-date expenditures, I think we are approximately, what did we say earlier, $345,000 plus or minus? Over budget. So we will have to deal with that, obviously, at town meeting, and we are constantly meeting and discussing that. We continue finalizing some documentation with MSBA on the school roof project, so I'm getting all that paperwork into them, and that's starting. Capital Committee has been meeting, and they continue to meet. Finance Committee has set their first date. I think that they're gone now, but still here. So Finance Committee, we're starting on the 17th for our meetings with the department heads. And we are going to be onboarding a new admin assistant in the Selectmen's office next week. We also are underway. We are preparing an offer for a building inspector candidate. This particular candidate is early on in the career, will be provisional candidate, but I think, I will have some seasoned support to help them out and onboard them and bring them along. We continue meeting with labor units. Town has begun reviving discussions related to the long-term police department building program. This is something that we have to get back on our radar. So we're working now with Eversource on easement issues over at the fire department headquarters property. So we're hoping to get a little more information on that and see if that site works for us. Fire hydrant maintenance, last Friday there was an issue with some fire hydrants. I think, between the cold and everything else that's going on, there's quite a few incidents on Selectman Imberg's behest. I did reach out to the water superintendent to try and find out what their hydrant maintenance and inspection practices were. Told him that, we are concerned about it. He has advised me that they do have a hydrant flushing and inspection program in place, and he will forward that information to me to sort of go over it with them. So that's all I have for you tonight.
All right.
We checked on the sign. We have an update on the sign.
Oh, yes.
I asked for an update.
Will Cushman, 273 Main Street. I would just let you want to let you guys know that I will reach out to Miss Tucker. I didn't want to go outside. It's snowing already.
Oh, no, Sean.
I forgot my.
Aren't you in charge of this weather?
And
Time to go. Sorry,
yeah,
our highway department is now leaving.
Tonight.
And actually,
Well, thank
before
you
you
for
go,
everything
I
that
just
you
want
do.
to I was going to
I
publicly
beat him to
thank
it.
you again. Like, you guys, the whole team over there, you guys have done a great job. It's as bad as snow as, I looked on Facebook, we had stuff like this 10 years ago where it was piled and piled and piled. And I know it's a challenge.
No, unfortunately,
I know.
there's not a lot of places to put snow either, once it gets to
No,
be
yeah.
this much snow. So appreciate what you're doing, and
Thank
good luck.
you.
Continue every day, so they're still out every day doing stuff.
And everybody at home, the best thing we can do for the highway department is stay off the roads. So wrap it up. No, do not. Do not.
Anytime. Somebody wants to come out for $30, come out
Was it a part-time
thanks.
job, Sean?
So,
Was it
Will,
a part-time job?
Will, what were you going to say?
Just pile some snow up on that new sign out front for now.
Did you figure out the sign?
I will reach out to Miss Tucker with the information
Yep. Sounds good.
by to either tonight or tomorrow.
Sounds good.
Due to the snow, I didn't want to run outside.
No
My
worries.
jacket is in the car still, so I will let you
Appreciate
guys
it.
know as soon as
I
possible.
love it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Will.
Perfect.
All right.
Selectmen comments? I got
Any
nothing.
comments?
Nope, stay off the roads. School vacation next week.
Next meeting is February 24th. Same place.
Move to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
I said move to adjourn.
Oh, second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And we adjourned at 7:20 PM.
That's not bad for